I filmed an entire video of myself talking about every single book I've read this year, and that was like super fun. But it is the middle of January right now. It's actually the day I'm filming this is January 15th. And so I don't know if I'm going to ever use that video. I don't know. I thought that no matter what, I could still film my top 23 of 2023 just because I think it would be fun to reminisce on the year 2023 and all of the books that I've read. So this is my list of my 23 favorites from 2023. Technically, there are more than 23 books on this list, but don't talk about it, okay? So I have this whole thing, like a picture basically from my digital reading journal that I'm looking at on my computer right now. So they go in order of like when I've read them. So like as the year went on, I added them in this list kind of as the year progressed. Like they're not in order of like my absolute favorite to my least favorite of my favorites. They're just in order of when I read them and when I was like, that's a favorite, putting it on the list. So starting off strong, my very first favorite that I added to this list for 2023 was From Luke Off With Love by Mariana Zapata. This is one of the 2 Mariana Zapata books that I've actually picked up at all ever in my reading journey, and I absolutely loved this book so much. I rated this one a 5 stars. I absolutely loved this. This was the second book I read of 2023 pretty much at all. Moving right along, the next one happens to be the other Mariana Zapata book that I've read, and that is Under Lock. I think I would definitely say out of the 2 from her that I have read, Under Lock is my personal favorite. I think I just love a good, like, broody, tattooed man in a romance. I think they're just amazing. Again, 5 star. Pretty much every single book on this list is either a 5 star or like a 4.75. Next, we have the 3rd book in the Twisted series, Twisted Hate. Again, 5 stars. This was my personal favorite out of the entire series. I just love Jules so much. She's my absolute number 1 of the entire Twisted series. From the very first book, meeting her in the first one, I loved her the most out of everybody that I'd met in the book. So I was so excited to finally get to hers, and I absolutely loved it. Her and Josh's little romance was adorable. Best Friend's Brother is always a hit for me. So there's my 3rd on the list. Number 4 is the last book in the Twisted series, which is Twisted Lies. Again, 5 star. Yeah, the first 2 in the series were not it for me, but the last 2 were immaculate 5 stars, and I absolutely loved them, so that's why they're on this list. So yeah, Twisted Lies, 5 stars, absolutely loved it. Loved how Christian was so protective of like literally everything for Stella, and like just the way that she struggles to try to not fall in love was really cute too. So that was the next one on the list. Moving right along, we have at our number 4 spot is The Love Hypothesis. This was a reread for me because I was so desperate to reread it. Like I wanted to reread it so bad. I have a whole video on it. If you guys want to go watch that, I will leave a link to it somewhere. You guys can go watch that video. It was amazing. I had the best time of my life. To this day, I think is still my favorite book. I think it's definitely my favorite romance, but I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. I have nothing else to say. It was just the perfect ever. Number 5 on my list of 23 is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This was the very first Lucy Score book I believe that I read, and I absolutely adored it. It was adorable. 5 stars again. Knox was adorable. I wish I could marry him in real life. I liked the story. I liked the, again, how there was like kind of a background plot line going on the entire time besides the romance. Like that kept it very interesting throughout the entire book. And I just think it was so cute. So there's that. Moving along to number 6 on the list is By a Thread by Lucy Score. This is another Lucy Score. I read this pretty much almost directly after or Things We Never Got Over, and it was amazing. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. This has become a really big favorite for me. I will say though that this is the book that put me in a really bad book slump, and I had the worst book hangover I think I have ever had from a book ever from this. So that was kind of difficult. Like getting myself back out of that was really hard, but I still absolutely adore this book, and it was amazing. Number 7 on our list is In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. It's kind of a random book that I think I saw Sarah talking about in a video at some point, and I was like, that seems kind of interesting. I kept seeing the cover of it and was kind of confused what it was until I read the back and was like, hey, wait a minute, that sounds immaculate. So I picked it up, read it, and absolutely adored it. It was amazing. 5 stars, of course. The characters were amazing. I think I was like struggling in the first couple pages, but then all of a sudden it got really good and I'm just in love. I do want to try to read more from Kate Canterbury, but a lot of her books either aren't Kindle Unlimited or I just can't find them. Like I don't know. Anyways, moving along. Number 9 is A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. This is a 4.75, but looking back, I think I would probably end up just giving it a 5-star anyway. I do think the only reason that I think I gave it a 4.75 or 4.5 when I originally rated it was because the ending is very rushed, or it feels very rushed. Like it feels like it just like ends, like it just goes whoop, and it's over. But this was kind of my first step back into fantasy reads after I had read ACOTAR back in September of 2022, and I absolutely loved this book. It was amazing. It was so cute. I didn't really know how I was going to feel towards it because I still hadn't really gotten into much fantasy reading yet, but I will say that this definitely was an amazing read. I am looking forward to continuing this kind of like interconnected standalone series that she has about all the different fae that are in this world that she's created. So I'm excited to continue reading those this year. I just never ended up getting to reading them this year. I got really busy with a lot of other things going on. So anyways, oh gosh, I don't even know if I could talk about this one right now. Next up, number 10 on our list is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is my personal favorite, I think, from the entire Chestnut Springs series is Heartless. This is Kate and Willa's story. Willa is my all-time favorite from the entire series. I don't care about nobody else. Willa is my one true love from a series, and I will do anything for this woman. There are a couple of things that happened in the book that I wasn't the most fond of, but overall, I still really, really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.75 originally. I think I would go back and probably give it a 5-star now. But at the time, there were just a couple of plot things that I just didn't really love. But then as the series continues, I do see where those little plot lines helped the story kind of continue and gave a lot of context to certain things. So I did really, really enjoy that. Here is where I fall into the rabbit hole of graphic novels. I went on like a graphic novel kick for like probably like 3 weeks, I think. I think I read like 7 or 8 of them like back to back, like over. It was crazy. The first group on this list in my number 11 spot is the entire Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I read the first 4 that were out at the time back in May of 2023, and then once the newest one, number 5, came out in December, I read that as well and added it to my list. So I put the entire Heartstopper series because this series genuinely just hits my heartstrings in a way that I would genuinely cry just looking at pictures of these people, and I can't wait for other things to come from her. I love her art style. I love the story. I just love all of it. I am looking forward to trying to start the Netflix series. I am interested in doing that, but sometimes I'm worried that the Netflix series are not going to be as good as the books, but I have heard good things about the Netflix series, so I definitely think I'm going to try to do that because all of these books are like some of my top favorites, so I love them a lot. Anywho's, moving along. In our number 12 spot, we have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is probably one of my number 1 authors of all time so far in my reading journey. I absolutely adore all of her books. I was a pretty big science nerd in school, so a lot of these kind of STEM related romances really hit home for me. Love Theoretically was her new book that came out in June. And I basically read it like the day after it came out because I was obsessed and I had to read it. I absolutely loved LZ in this book. She was so cute. I loved the love interest, Jack. He was adorable. The whole premise of the book is really cute. I know a lot of people give Ali Hazelwood a lot of for being very much like copy and paste stories, but I don't really mind that they're very similar. I think it's very interesting and I love it. This was one of my most anticipated books of 2023, so I'm very glad that I really, really liked it. Moving along, we come to Reckless by Elsie Silver, which I don't know which one this is. Okay, Reckless is number 4 in the series, and this one is about winter and Theo Silva. I have a sweatshirt for this book. That is how much I loved this book so much. I gave this one a 4.75 stars. I really, really liked it. I don't have much else to say. I feel like I can't really talk about much. Their love story was adorable. The miscommunication in this book was a little bit annoying, but also like added a lot of context and gave a lot of interest to the plot. But I will say I'm not the biggest on the miscommunication trope. I never really enjoy those, but what are you gonna do? Okay, we're on what, number 14? So number 14 on my list is The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora. Don't come at me. It looks like Katharina, but I don't want to assume that that's what it is. So I don't know. Anyways, this is a random book I saw on Kindle Unlimited. It like comes up on your Kindle. I have the Kindle that does like the ads when it's not on. And one time I kind of noticed The Wrong Bride, and I was like, I feel like I've seen that so many times. Let me check it out. So I read the synopsis, read it, and absolutely loved it. I do think I want to go and read the other ones in this like series that she has going on. Like this is kind of like a series about all the siblings in this family, and I really, really liked it. The main character, Raven, was adorable. She was really, you know, she's very honest with everything, very strong person. The main character, Guy, was a little bit annoying with a couple of things, but I still really liked him. Overall, the plot was really good. I felt like I could follow along very easily. Sometimes I think books that I find just like off random things can sometimes be a little bit more difficult for me to understand. It felt very Romeo and Juliet-esque, which I really liked. And it was just really good. Would highly recommend reading it. It's very good. Moving along. Next up, we have in our number 15 spot, The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walters? I don't know. This book was so cute. It's this adorable little like YA book about a summertime romance with these young people, and I just ended up really, really liking it. I personally feel that this book was better than the Summer I Turned Pretty series for me. I just enjoyed the relationship and friendship between the two main characters a lot more than I did the friendship and relationships that happen in The Summer I Turned Pretty. And overall, I really, really liked it. I am probably going to seek out more from this author because I really, really enjoyed this book. So yeah, good read. 4.5 stars. Another graphic novel on this list is The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is a favorite of one of my favorite booktubers, Allison Pages. This is like one of her favorites. I just liked the story. The art was beautiful. I just felt, you know, it was just so cute. It warmed my heart to the point where I was like 5 stars. This is amazing. It was so good. I'm having a hard time thinking of things to like say. In my number 17 spot is a book that I was never expecting to say was like a favorite of mine at all ever. That is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I absolutely loved this book. I think I gave it a 4.5 stars. I have a whole series on a bunch of these books, so if you guys want to go watch that, go watch that. I will leave a link down below to that entire series and everything. I read 4 of my favorite booktubers' favorite books, and I absolutely had the time of my life and loved pretty much every single book I read. So this one made it on there. If you want to know more about my feelings towards it, go watch the video, but I'm not going to bore you with me talking about it anymore. And then going along in that same video series, I read Fourth Wing, which is my number 18 spot, is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I have not ended up picking up Iron Flame, which is the second one yet. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but eventually we will get there and read that book. But I absolutely love this one. 5 stars. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing fantasy read for me. So loved that. Moving along, Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I gave 4.5 stars. This was Beau's book. And we finally got that wrap up to the Chestnut Spring series that everybody was wanting. I absolutely loved it. I know a lot of other people didn't really enjoy female lead in this book, Bailey, but I absolutely loved her. I loved her in the other books, like the little snippets you get from her in the other ones. And I absolutely loved her in this one. So no complaints. In my number 20 spot is one of my all-time favorites of the entire year, and that is The Do-Over by Miss Lynn Painter. I pushed off reading this book for so long because it was still in hardback, and I didn't want to read it on the hardback. I don't know. I'm really weird about some of these things. So I finally read it. I forget even when, probably like November sometime or something, and absolutely loved it. Devoured it in like a day. I genuinely cried like multiple times throughout the book because I felt so emotionally attached to these characters. And read it. Please read it. It is so good. If they had a movie of this, I would literally rewatch this movie like 1,000 times. So there's that. Then coming pretty much directly after I read that one, I read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Absolutely adored it. 4.75 stars. This was amazing. After sitting with the book for a couple of days, I ended up really loving it. When I originally finished it, it felt very rushed and I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand how it just like ends like that. But after sitting with it for a couple of days, I realized that I just continued to look back and think about it over and over and over again for like a good while. So read it, definitely read it. Okay, guys, we're on to our last two of the thing. I'm very excited about this, guys. This is so exciting. So my last two on the list are two graphic novels. I was kind of running out of books to fill space with. So there's two graphic novels in the end that are two of my favorites from the year. They were two that I read pretty much at the very end of the year. And the first one being Heavy Vinyl. Most of these have multiple authors, so I'm not gonna like try to read all of the names out, but it's this really cool like girl gang, girl group. It has a very small, insignificant like romance side plot also going on in it. The art was beautiful, and it was like one of those things I just really, really enjoyed, and that is why I ultimately ended up rating it so high. I think I gave it a 5-star actually. I have to look. 1 second. Yes, I gave it a 5-star. And then the last book, number 23 on this list, is okay. Well, that is my top 2023 of 2023 all wrapped up nicely for you guys. I will try and be a little bit more consistent with my YouTube as much as I can. You know, I do have a full-time job and a lot going on in my life, so sometimes I will miss uploads and things. I'm gonna try for 2 uploads a month at the most, I think. If I can get more, I can get more. If I can't, I can't. That's fine. I'm not gonna like pressure myself into anything. Without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe down below, and don't forget to put on those post notifications so you get a notification the next time I post. I will see you guys next time. Toodles!